Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
I am Tom.
It's our TOEIC unit. So we've got 2 days to talk about some of these TOEIC terms and phrases that you might see on a test if you take the TOEIC test and want to go and study abroad in particular. This is an issue, though, that's very, I think, very prevalent, I would say. I've been getting a lot of emails lately asking for my financial details, or they want to know my login for like Amazon or one of my accounts that I can spend money on. So have you had this happen where you've had a phishing attempt, Tom?
Well, actually, yes, a couple of times. One time someone called me and they claimed that they were kidnapping my son. Somebody said, "Bah! I've been kidnapped. Dad, help me." And I realized it was a scam because, hey, I don't have a son.
No, you do not.
So I just spoke some English to them, and then they got mad and swore at me in Taiwanese and hung up the phone. And that's about the only time that's happened. Another time I got some ransomware in my computer. I guess that's similar to phishing, but what we're talking about is when people call you on the phone and say there's something wrong with your credit card or something, and then they want some personal information.
Yeah, I think for Tom and I, at least, we're kind of spared some of this because we're here in Taiwan. And for the most part, as soon as a phone caller or some number I don't recognize calls me and starts to talk and they realize I'm a foreigner, they hang up. So we're going to talk about this phishing stuff that's going on. There's just a lot of fraudulent attempts going out there in lots of different forms. My dad was retired, semi-retired, I guess you could say. And so he would love to get these kind of phone calls because he would just play with them. And he'd pretend he was going along. But sadly, they do end up fooling a lot of people. So you need to know what's going on and be alert and aware. You don't want to be giving out personal information, especially financial information, which can hurt you.
Exactly. Of course, some people do not know this goes on, especially older people.
Yeah.
And, of course, these evil people prey on older people.
They do.
Shame on them. They deserve to go straight to HE double toothpicks.
That's right.
But, of course, in today's lesson, we're going to talk about an example that happens to Jack here. He gets a call from someone called Sally, and she claims she is from First National Bank. So let's find out about this call. Let's listen to it first, and then we'll come back to discuss it.
This is Sally from First National Bank. Can I speak with Jack Davis?
This is he. How may I help you?
Our artificial intelligence software has detected some unusual transactions on your credit card.
Oh, dear. Is everything all right?
I'm afraid it isn't. An administrator reviewed your account and noticed several purchases made in Tokyo, Japan. Did you authorize these?
No. I don't know anyone in Tokyo.
Under these circumstances, we need to cancel the card to prevent further transactions. Before I proceed, I need to verify some information.
Okay.
First, can you tell me your date of birth and your online banking password?
Why would you require this data? You called my cell phone, so you should have that data on your computer screen.
I'm just following our corporate guidelines.
I'm not comfortable sharing that information with you.
In that case, I won't be able to assist you, and you'll have to pay for these transactions.
Jack hangs up the phone and calls 165.
Anti-fraud hotline. This is Mary speaking.
Hi, Mary. I just received a call from someone claiming to be a bank representative. She said my credit card has been breached and demanded personal information from me.
That sounds like a typical phishing scheme. A bank would never ask for any personal data or passwords over the phone or by email.
That's what I suspected. I'm glad I was cautious and listened to my instincts. Thanks for your assistance. Okay, everybody, it's time for us to discuss the contents of today's lesson. We're talking about vishing. And as a good teacher, I tried to look up the meaning of this word vishing so I could explain it to all of you. But I had trouble figuring out what exactly this word means, at least why we use this word. Basically, vishing is kind of an amalgamation, if you will, a joining up of two words, voice phishing. And then phishing itself is spelled with PH.
Right.
That comes from the word fish, which actually is from the word freak, which is spelled with PH. And freak originally was, you get the idea, the definition is quite complicated. I'm going to stop right there. So just for all intents and purposes, vishing just means someone's trying to scam you over the phone.
Yeah, so if you see the V, it just means, as Tom said, it's a voice scam. Unlike email scams are phishing with the P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G, that's phishing. And I don't know about you guys, I still use Hotmail as my email account. And there's one of the selections I can choose, and I can report phishing attempts back to my email company, and they can shut those down. So, yeah, this is one that uses voicemail, a live person usually talking, but not always. Sometimes they're recordings that you get. So it's a vishing attempt. And it starts out with this lady named Sally. She says she represents a bank, First National Bank, and she wants to speak with Jack Davis, who lives there.
Right, and Jack says, well, this is he. I am Jack Davis. How may I help you? What can I do for you? And then Sally says, our artificial intelligence software has detected some unusual transactions on your credit card. So we've got some AI software going on here, and she claims that this software program has detected some unusual transactions regarding his credit card. Now, a transaction, of course, is when people take action with other people, especially some kind of financial transaction. I sell this thing to you, you give me the money. That's a financial transaction. There may be other kinds of transactions, but usually when we talk about transactions, we're talking about some kind of money deal.
Right. Jack is worried, of course, because he's being told there's some unusual activities going on.
Exactly. So the conversation continues with Jack. Oh, dear. Oh, my goodness. Is everything all right? Is everything fine with my credit card? Am I going to have to pay for these transactions? What am I going to do? And Sally says, well, I'm afraid it isn't. She says that, no, things are not all right. You've got some problems here. She goes on to explain, an administrator reviewed your account and noticed several purchases made in Tokyo, Japan. Did you authorize these? So we've got someone in charge, an administrator, someone who looks into these things, and they looked at his account. Of course, they're lying here. This didn't really happen, but Sally says that this person reviewed his account, and then this person noticed that there were several purchases made, several transactions made in Tokyo, Japan, and she wants to know if he authorized those transactions. Did you authorize these? Did you approve of them?
Jack says he doesn't know anyone in Tokyo. I once had a transaction on my credit card that was, it was called Party in a Box, and it had been purchased in China, and I hadn't been there. So, yeah, you need to pay attention to your credit card bills and statements that come out, because sometimes you will find fraudulent transactions on there. Well, he doesn't know anyone in Tokyo, and she says under these circumstances, because of this situation we're in, we need to cancel the card to prevent further transactions. Oh, that's a pain. She says, before I proceed, if you proceed, you just move forward with whatever you're doing. She says she wants to verify some information, and that's the term they'll use when they want to get some of your personal details. And sometimes it's on a legitimate phone call with a bank. Like I just made a phone call to my bank a couple days ago. And they'll want to verify some information before they proceed or before they move forward and on to some other business that they have. Before I proceed, let me tell you your rights by law. There are lots of times we use this. We use it in business. We use it when you're filling out forms at an office. This is a very popular word. Again, it just means that you're going to move forward with whatever you're in the midst of doing.
Yep, you're going to continue. You're going to do this thing. So she says, before I can continue with this business here, I need to verify some information. To verify just means you want to check to make sure things are accurate and true. Jack is kind of hesitant here. He says, okay. So he's already starting to be suspicious.
Yeah, I would be.
I would be too. And Sally says, first, can you tell me your date of birth and your online banking password? Okay, so that's some pretty personal information there, your date of birth. I'm not going to tell you my date of birth here on the program, even though maybe some of you would like to know, but I'm not going to tell you. And also, your password, that's something you just don't want to tell people because if they have that, then they can get into your account and take all your money.
Right. Unless it's on an official piece of government information, perhaps. I don't give anyone my date of birth. If you have your date of birth, or if someone has your date of birth, they can steal a lot of stuff from you, and they can apply for new credit cards very easily. Be careful with that. When I sign up for some of these social media accounts, I always use a sister's birthday or a combination of my birthday and another sister's birth year. So I never give anybody my real date of birth online. It's so easy to hack these days, guys, to break into accounts. We know that banks' information is stolen quite often as well. So be careful with this stuff. Of course, if the bank's information is stolen, they're responsible for that. But you don't want to make it easy on these thieves, and there are a lot of them out there these days. So Jack is suspicious. He starts to wonder if this lady is legit or legitimate. If you're legitimate, you're a real person. You're not trying to fake somebody out. He says, why would you need or require this data? You called my cell phone. So you should have that data on your computer screen. And if they work for a bank, they would have that data already in front of them.
Right, so at this point, of course, Jack sounds suspicious. Why would you require this data? Sally might think that, okay, this Jack guy is on to me. He knows it's a scam, so they probably hang up the phone at that point.
Probably.
But, of course, she might be trying still to scam him. She might think she still has a chance. But, again, Jack says, well, why do you need this data? Why do you need this information? You called my cell phone, which means you have that number. So if you have that information, then you should have that other information that you just asked for in your system or on your computer screen. You should have my date of birth, my banking password, my ID number, all that fun stuff.
And she has a great excuse. She says, I'm just following our corporate guidelines. These are the rules that she's been asked to follow as an employee of her company. Corporate just means a company. Could be a large company or it could be a group of companies together. But corporate guidelines. Corporate here is an adjective. And the noun, of course, is corporation. So that's her excuse at least. But Jack's smart. He says, I'm not comfortable sharing that information with you. And it's always smarter to be safe than sorry.
Exactly. Of course, if this were to happen to me, I'd probably start playing with them.
See?
I might give them some pretend numbers.
You're like my dad.
Exactly. But I'm not sure if that's wise to do. I'm not sure if you're staying on the line will give them a chance to do something to your phone or something like that. It's probably best to just hang up the phone if you're suspicious about something like that. And again, he says he's not comfortable sharing that information with this person. He doesn't know who she is, and that is personal information. And Sally Alice says, well, in that case, I won't be able to assist you, and you'll have to pay for these transactions. Okay, so she's kind of using this as a last resort here. I got to kind of scare this guy to say, ooh, well, you'll be in big trouble here. You're going to have to pay for these transactions. You better give me that information or you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, they do try to scare you like that. Well, he hangs up and he calls 165, which we learn is the anti-fraud hotline. You can also say anti, they're both correct. Fraud is illegal activity that actually deals with money. So if someone commits fraud, they're deceiving you and they're trying to get money from someone, whoever they're trying to scheme against or try to defraud. So this is the anti-fraud line. They're trying to help people who think they've been victims of fraud. A hotline's just a number that people call when they're in need of help. Usually it's when they've been a victim of something. So this is Mary talking, and Jack goes ahead and tells her his situation.
Yep, he's friendly. He says, hi, Mary, and he gets down to business. He says, I just received a call from someone claiming to be a bank representative. So this person said that they represent this bank. That's what they claimed. That's what they stated to be true. And Jack goes on to say, she said my credit card has been breached and demanded personal information from me. So here, if something's breached, that means there's some kind of disruption, some kind of interruption in the smooth operations of things. And therefore, you probably have to go back and deal with it. In this case, it could be a breach of security, for example. Maybe your building has experienced someone breaking in. You could say there's a security breach. Someone unauthorized is in the building. We need to find them and kick them out.
Yeah, and if you're in law, you'll often hear breach of contract, where one party who signed a contract isn't coming through with what they've promised to do, breach of contract, and then you can sue them, get an attorney and sue them. So he says his credit card has been breached, and well, the lady on the phone obviously said that and demanded some personal information. If people demand something from you, that's much stronger than saying they requested something or they asked you for something. If they demand, it's a very strong request, you could say. And usually it sounds a little strong. It sounds a little bit threatening sometimes when people demand something. I demand. There are usually some strong emotions attached to that.
Exactly. One time, of course, I was having lunch with somebody, but I really love to eat pickles, and this person did not eat their pickle, and I asked them for their pickle, and they said, no, I'm going to eat it, but they wouldn't eat the pickle.
Oh, you wanted
And I finally said, give me that pickle. I demand your pickle. You must give your pickle to me. But that person thought I was crazy. But later on, of course, I went to the supermarket and bought a jar of pickles so I could enjoy them to my heart's content. But in any case, yes, Jack says that this person who called me claimed to be a representative, and they demanded personal information. Again, that personal information was his date of birth and his password, which is a no-no. If somebody asks you for your password, that means something is up.
Yeah, now, Mary says it sounds like a typical vishing scheme. A scheme is a very well laid out plan or arrangement, and you usually are trying to put something into, you're trying to put some sort of plan of action into play. It could be a secret plan, underhanded plan, a criminal plan. But scheme sounds a little bit suspicious, so be careful with that word. A bank would never ask for any personal data or passwords over the phone or by email. And that's what Jack says. That's what I thought. Thanks for your assistance. Right now, someone who's going to give us some assistance is our Chinese teacher. And then we'll be back.
Hello everyone, 我是派老师。今天讲解的是4月19号 Unit 10 Jack shuts down a phishing attempt。这一课是多益单元，第一天课程呈现的是一段电话对话，不过内容和诈骗 fraud、scam 有关。不晓得听众有没有接过可疑的电话，但相信大家都应该接过不少陌生简讯，里面还有网址连结。其实 很多有可能都是诈骗，请同学要小心一点，不要任意的点选，不要上当。而今天的课程内容是表示一则透过电话语音企图诈骗的案子。不过还好，我们的男主角 Jack Davis 非常的小心，他并没有上当。Without further ado， 我们一起看看今日课程内容的学习重点。首先呢，是一位小姐打电话给 Jack。This is Sally from First National Bank. Can I speak with Jack Davis? 好，我们在打电话给别人的时候，英文呢，礼貌上，尤其是对陌生人，一定要比较正式一点，要先表明自己的身份。This is who and who.OK， 这到底是谁打电话来？我是谁 ？This is Sally. This is Patrick. 接下来，因为呢，你们两个其实并不相识，所以要表明你到底是什么身份。From First National Bank 就意味着我现在在第一国家银行工作，那我的名字叫 Sally. Can I speak with Jack Davis? 接下来就说你想要请谁接听电话？那 Jack 就说 This is he. 我就是。我就是 This is he， 我就是你要找的人。How may I help you？ 这也是相当正式的讲法，非常的客气，同学可以学起来，以后接听电话的时候可以这样子用 How may I help you？ 那接着打电话来电的人，他就说到了 Our artificial intelligence software has detected some unusual transactions on your credit card。 哇，这句话听来很恐怖哦。我们的 AI 软体侦测到你的信用卡有一些异常的交易 unusual transactions。 好，如果你听到，你会怎么反应呢？ Jack 当然是吓了一跳 Oh dear。 好，这并不是在呼唤对方说亲爱的，而是表示他难以置信，觉得天哪 Is everything alright？ 没事吧？来电的人说I'm afraid it isn't。我很担心我恐怕我要告诉你，的确有一些麻烦哦。It isn't all right。 好，那到底什么事呢？他就说他们内部的行政 reviewed your account， 看了一下你的账户，金融账户，就发现说你在日本东京呢有一些消费的行为。Did you authorize these？那你是否有授权？请同学把 authorize 画起来，你是否有授权这些交易？因为信用卡是需要授权的嘛。好， Jack 当然就说我不知道啊，我在东京不认识任何人。 Sally 回答 Under these circumstances。 这个片语很常见，我们在使用的时候通常都是用复数，请注意 these circumstances 用复数型。好，那我就必须要把你的卡片注销咯。 We need to cancel your card。 好，那再来，这个 Sally 就说在注销前他需要确认资讯。 I need to verify some information。 请同学把 verify 画起来，它就是要验证一些个人资讯，要做核对。好啦，那再来，我们的 Jack 非常的聪明啊，因为对方要求要知道说你的线上金融卡密码是什么？他听到密码两个字，警报马上大响。 Why would you require this data？ 你为什么需要这些资料？你拨打我的手机号码，你的电脑萤幕上应该会显示这些资料啊。 Sally 这位女士说 I'm just following our corporate guidelines。 我只是在遵循公司要求我们所做的这些规范这个 Jack 非常的聪明，他就说 I'm not comfortable sharing the information with you。 请同学把 I'm not comfortable 画起来。请注意哦，英文在讲到这个 I'm not comfortable 的时候，很多时候跟身体舒不舒服无关，而是我不喜欢这样子做，这样做我觉得不对劲。 OK， 跟你说这些资讯我觉得不对劲。 Jack 果然非常的聪明。好啦，那 Sally 这个来电的人很显然的没有办法达成他的目的，他就只好挂电话了。那这个时候我们的 Jack 挂完电话以后，很快的拨打了165。大家知道165是什么吗？就是反诈骗热线，英文叫 Anti-Fraud Hotline。那这个 Jack 就先解释了一下他所遇到的状况。Hi, Mary. I just received a call from someone claiming to be a bank representative. 有人自称自己在银行上班，打电话来 claim to， 那就是他这么说，仰称怎么样怎么样。然后呢，后来他解释一下这个人到底跟他说了些什么。She said my credit card has been breached. 原来我们说卡片被盗用，可以这么说my credit card has been breached. 好，然后呢，他还要求要我个人的资讯。She demanded personal information from me. 好，那这个反诈骗热线呢的 Mary 就马上跟他说，好，这听起来就是有问题。That sounds like a typical phishing scheme. 什么叫 phishing scheme 呢？ Phishing scheme 就是语音钓鱼诡计。好的，以上就是我们对第一天课程多益课程第一天所做的中文讲解，谢谢大家。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to continue our lesson now with some useful expressions. In our conversation, of course, we had some disagreements. People did not agree on some information. So here's some suggestions on how to express disagreement. The first one says, we should hold the sales meeting tomorrow afternoon. I don't think so. I'm busy. So, yes, this is one way to say, I don't like your idea. You can say, I don't think so. That's not quite a song as saying, no way, Jose, I'm not going to do that. But here, I don't think so. It's just kind of polite. It's a polite way of saying, no, I don't think we should hold that meeting tomorrow.
Yeah. No way, Jose. Jose is a Mexican name. Jose, Jose. And we do it because it rhymes. It sounds fun. No way, Jose. So here's number 2. I think we should increase the budget. I'm afraid I disagree. That's a very polite way to say that you disagree. And you should keep some of these phrases in your back pocket ready to use in a meeting. You want to use the least offensive way to disagree with somebody, especially if you're at work, guys. Don't be too strong there. 3, here's another one. We'll definitely win the game. I'm not so sure about that. That sounds a little bit hesitant, but it's also a little bit more polite than say, I don't think so. That's the strongest one of these 3. Now, our discussion question, Tom, is this. Has anyone ever tried to scam you or one of your friends? What happened? You did mention that you had been shut down with the... What is that called again?
Ransomware.
Ransomware, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had the files backed up, so I didn't fall for that one.
Oh, good.
But in any case here, another example is my wife received a call from somebody the other day, and she was instantly suspicious. And, of course, she hung up the phone, and the phone kept ringing after that, and that person finally gave up. How about you?
I've been lucky. No one has tried to scam me or one of my friends. I'm pretty good about this stuff. It's hard to fool me because I'm quite aware of what's going on out there. Be careful, though, guys. It does happen, and it's happening more and more and more. Especially, I've noticed I'm getting more and more phishing emails every day. So be careful with that. We're going to continue talking about this particular issue of vishing, which is kind of fun. Vishing, phishing, and smishing. They're all 3 related. And they have to do with trying to cheat you out of money. We'll be back for that, though, in our next program. Thanks for joining us for English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tom. Goodbye.
See ya.